Alright, today I'm working on the damage that was done to the bow of my saltydog. I'm going to be removing the bow supports and brackets for the bow rail, these two supports here, and I'm going to be working on cutting this damage out. I was able to get inside and pull the plywood sheets off the inside of the cutty, and that's going to allow me to get into the back side of this mess. And we look at my mold. My mold fits really well, and I still need to extend from here down to the bottom here, and I'm going to do that fairly simply. I'm going to put a piece of Formica with some wax paper on it up underneath, tape it down to the boat, and I'll go ahead and just glass down to the bottom so I can get this length, and then I'll be able to cut that section out and start working on the damage to the actual hull structure. I'm going to take and I'm going to cut back, it looks like, not quite to this line. I'm going to cut back to about, maybe 1.5 inches in from there. And I'm going to build that all back up. It's not really that, it doesn't have much damage in there, but there's a couple of deck supports that I noticed there's some damage too. So once I cut and remove this section, I'll be able to get to those deck supports, and then I'm going to glass in some extra support in between the framework for the deck to make the deck more solid. The deck itself is pretty solid, but I'm going to reinforce it. I've got a younger brother that is 360 pounds, and I want him to be able to walk on the bow without crushing the deck. So I'm going to add some extra supports, glass them in, and this bow will be totally solid. Then the next step is I'm going to take this hatch, the bow hatch there, and I'm going to glass that in. I'm always afraid in a rough ocean condition, if we take a wave over the bow, the green water could potentially grab that hatch and blow it open and rip it off, and if it does, then that's a massive entry for water, and of course if you're 40 miles offshore, you're going to end up sinking the boat. So I'm going to do that, and eventually I'm going to take these windows out, and I'm either going to rebuild them, or I'm going to get a new diamond sea glaze window to go in there and kind of update the boat. I've decided I'm going to take the lights that are the port and starboard light, navigation lights, and I'm going to take those off of the side of the boat, and when I put the hardtop on, I'm going to put them up on the hardtop. That'll also make it more visible for other boaters to see. And so that's kind of my project for today. I'm going to try and pull this damage out. This glass right here is over 1/2 inch thick, so I'm gonna be cutting a lot of glass out, and then once I extend this little section here down, I'm gonna go ahead and start building the piece, and I'm gonna reinforce it with 1708. I'm gonna put several layers of chop strand mat, and it'll be at least 1/2 inch thick, maybe a little thicker along here and then on the deck. And then when I glass up underneath on the inside of the boat, that'll completely reinforce this. So anyhow, I thought I'd show you what I'm going to be working on. This damage looks worse than it really is, and once I remove the bow rail supports, I'll be able to grind. There's some radial spider cracks kind of coming up this way in the gel coat, so I'm going to grind as far up as I need. and then as far back as I need, which looks like it's going to be down in here because there's little cracks down in this gully here, and they go all the way back to about that support there. So I'll be working on that, and I'm just going to keep tinkering on this winter, and I should have it done hopefully by the end of the year, which it's October now. Hopefully by January I'll have all of this stuff done. Everything will be sanded, the boat will be painted, I'll have my window frame built, and I should be able to pull it outside and do some other work on the deck hatches that are over the engines and in the fishing cockpit. And I'm thinking about taking this rail off. I don't like that rail. Number one, it's too low, and I'm probably going to have one built that's taller so that as you walk down the side of the gunnel you can grab a hold of it without really having to lean over that much. So I'm going to mess around with that, glass that hatch in, and once that hatch is glassed in and once this damage is fixed, I've got one spot in the back corner panel of the transom that I'll do some glass on, and this thing's getting real close to being ready for paint. It doesn't look like it, but it really is. So anyway, thanks for looking.